Good morning, everyone. It's Tess, and today is tip 141. And today I decided I was going to look up something kind of connected to this past weekend. I was getting my garden in, put in the tomato plants, got the peppers put in, worked on some raspberry bushes, strawberries, stuff like that. So I decided I have a container that's got like 9 little sections in it that you can use for strawberries or spices. And I thought, this journey is about learning and growing, and like the doc has always told us, start looking at YouTube videos, learning more, expand your knowledge, whether it's related to cooking, whether it's related to what type of movement you want to do, all parts of your body. Expand your knowledge financially, just grow and improve yourself so that you have more tools available to make the journey interesting, make the journey fun, and make the journey as beneficial as you can to yourself. So today I thought I would look up articles on what are the best spices to grow at home to kind of have available to you, because we all know that spices, they say, are better fresh. And so I thought, well, I'm going to see what kind of articles I can find related to what are the best at-home spices. Because like I said, I have this container that's got 9 little spots in it that's on wheels that I can have outside. And I thought, what are my best choices of spices? So this article I found is called 20 Easy to Grow Spices You Can Grow at Home. And it's from Morning Choices. Oh, it's actually talking about difference between herbs and spices. And it says in terms of cooking, there's technically a difference between herbs and spices. Herbs are the fresh dried leaves. Herbs are the fresh dried leaf parts of annual, biannual, or herbaceous plants, and then spices are seeds of fruit, bark, or any plant. So that's kind of interesting. Spices are seeds or fruit of any plant, and so that's actually kind of interesting. Spices are the seeds and fruit, and herbs are the actual crunched up leaves. So that's something new I didn't know. Okay, now I will get into the rest of this. The easy spices to grow at home to use with your cooking to kind of spice up your cooking. The first one is coriander, and coriander is a seed from a cilantro plant. So in that case, that one would be a spice because it's actually a seed. Mustard, and I'm going to say that's probably a spice too. Mustard seeds are the basis of many Indian foods, so mustard is a good thing to grow. Cumin, that's a spice, and cumin is a good one to grow at home, and that plant is part of the parsley family. Caraway, and we all know caraway seeds because in like caraway rye, there's a lot of seeds in that. So again, that would be a spice because it is a seed of us instead of a crunched up leaf. Fennel. Fennel is a key ingredient in Italian sausage, so growing that at home might be fun. This next one will be no surprise to anyone, and it's called garlic. So garlic is definitely a good thing to grow at home. And it is funny in the picture, it looks a lot like onions, but we all know it's got a big multi-section head on it. Paprika, and they say paprika is a magical spice. It doesn't have a significant amount of flavor on its own, but when paired with tomatoes or meat, it makes them explode with flavor. So paprika is one that they say is magic. So that's something you can grow at home. Saffron. Saffron is one of the most precious and expensive spices on the planet. It's used in gourmet recipes more than you will ever know. The aroma, it adds a nice aroma to rice, and it comes from inside the flour. So saffron's a good one to grow. Bay leaves. Bay leaves are shrubby trees, but they are great container plants. And you can grow them. And the nice thing about this article is it tells you what zones you can grow them in, like 8 to 10. Number 10 is lavender. And I didn't realize, well, I should have known lavender was a spice. They use it in essential oils all the time. But lavender is considered an herb, but by definition, you use the seeds, so it should generally be called a spice, but they call it an herb. It's a beautiful plant. It has a host of medicinal qualities, and it's used a lot in like black tea with goat milk or lavender ice cream. Oh, now this one is going to be hard for me to pronounce. Fenugreek, Fenugreek, and it's a spice used in curries. It smells like caramelized sugar and meets maple syrup. So it grows well in areas of long, cooling growing seasons. And just a few seeds crushed and stirred into a buttermilk squash soup can elevate the sweetness to a level of candy. Now that's interesting. I'll have to try that because I know like a butternut squash soup is one of my dad's favorites. Number 12 is dill. And dill is amazing among sauces and salads. And I know in my house when I was growing up, there was a lot of pickling going on, so we used a lot of dill. Cayenne, probably no surprise to anyone. Cayenne, like paprika, its peppers are grown, harvested, and dried for use as cayenne pepper. Half a teaspoon is usually enough to make a knockout chili. Juniper berry. Juniper berries are grown on juniper bushes. They are blue in color when fresh and dark purple to almost black when dried. They are the base flavor of most gins, and they make a mean stew. So a juniper berry in a stew might be kind of fun. Ginger, yes, I am a ginger, but ginger as a spice is something that grows better in warm, humid climates, and it requires shallow soil. For anyone who makes curries or desserts, dried and powdered ginger is essential for a spice. Turmeric, and we've all heard of turmeric before. And it says no curry would be complete without turmeric. It's used in meat stocks to flavor and add health benefits. Star anise, this is grown in like zone 9, but it's a pretty plant. Its seeds pods are beautiful and delectable, and they're in many Asian recipes. Also great for use in potpourri. Number 18 is sesame. And sesame seeds are technically grain seeds, and they can be ground up to be used to make tahini or pressed into oil. Sesame seed requires hot weather to flourish, so but the plants also grow to be about 6 foot tall. Sumac, now that's something that is around here a lot, and a lot of people avoid it because I guess the leaves can kind of cause you problems. But sumac berries, the berries from the sumac tree, these are like weeds, and they grow to be about 20 foot tall. But when you take the berries and they're dried and ground into powder, they create a lemony flavor and a beautiful red color to add to Mediterranean dishes. So I guess if I spot one of those somewhere again, I may grab the berries. Vanilla, we all know about vanilla. This might be a stretch for most of us, but if you're up for the challenge and you can create the right conditions, it's worth a try. We know vanilla can be used in all kinds of things. Creme brulee, vanilla ice cream, cookies, probably a lot of things most of us are not eating. Hi, Joan. But it was kind of interesting that there are 20 different spices that they recommend to grow in your own home garden. And like I said, I have a 9 container thing that you can use for strawberries or spices. And my strawberries are already planted. Good morning. So I thought I'm going to try to expand out a little bit on spices and what I'm going to grow, because a lot of the basic ones that we all grow aren't even really listed here. So these are, and I'll go through them again real quick, 20 easy to grow spices at home that they're recommending. This is an article from Morning Chores, and it did kind of briefly tell us the difference between an herb and a spice. And a spice is where you use the seeds or the fruit of the plant, and an herb is where you crunch up the leaves instead of the seed or the fruit. So really, basically, it's the part of the plant that you use is whether it's a spice or an herb. If it's the leaf crunched, it's an herb. If it's the fruit or the berry, it's the spice. So the easy to grow spices, according to this article, are coriander, and it's a seed from a cilantro plant. Mustard, and we know that this is used in a lot of Indian dishes. Cumin, and that's has beautiful flowers, and you extract it. It actually attracts all sort of beneficial insects, so that's interesting. Caraway seeds are used in sauerkraut and rye bread. I know predominantly rye bread. That's a big one in my family. The flowers also make insect attractors. Fennel, and that's a key ingredient in Italian sausage. Bulb fennel is used more like a root vegetable. Garlic it is, and we would know this, but we usually only buy the little ones, but it looks a lot like an onion. but it's the bulb that you get. And most of the time, I don't know many people who actually grow it, but it's worth a try, especially if it's easy. Paprika, and that one's excellent for drying. And paprika is usually used with a lot of different things. It's paired with tomatoes or meat, and then it makes a really nice flavor. Saffron. Saffron, they say, is one of the most expensive spices, but you can grow it at home, so it may be worth giving a try. Bay leaf, now that's something a lot of us probably do have in our pantries, and it's a shrubby tree. It's a great container plant. It's also grown in greenhouses, and it's no self-respecting stew is complete without it. Lavender. Lavender is considered an herb, but by definition it should be a spice. And this is actually used a lot for teas. Then it says fenugreek, Fenugreek, and that's used a lot in curries, and it smells like caramelized sugar meets maple syrup, so it adds a lot of sweetness. Dill for pickling, and was used a lot in our family. Cayenne peppers grow, harvest cayenne. We take the peppers and we grind it, and we use cayenne in a lot of places. Many of us use that. Juniper berries, again, berries, so that's a spice. And this is used in like pate, head cheese, and it's very aromatic and flavorful. Ginger, and ginger is something a lot of us use, and it's used in curries or desserts, dried and powdered. It's an essential spice. Turmeric, and turmeric, they're tall and dry, but you can grind them up a bit easier than ginger, and no curry would be complete without it. Star anise seems to be one that you can grow in a greenhouse. It's a little bit more tough to grow, but it's a pretty plant. Its seed pods are beautiful and delectable, and it's used in many Asian recipes. Sesame are technically grains. They do like hot weather. They need some room to grow, but they're really good in Asian dishes like sesame chicken. Sumac, and that up in the north area, you'll see a lot of that. They say that it's the berries that you want to take. They grow like weeds in a lot of areas, which I have seen them around here. And you want to grind the berries into powder, and they have a lemony flavor. So they're a good add to, you can, oh, now this is interesting. You can actually use the sumac berries to make a lemony lemonade tasting type of beverage. So that's interesting. I think you do have to be careful with the leaves, because my dad was telling me they do have a little bit of like a poison in them, so you might break out in a rash or something from them. Vanilla is used in many areas of all of our lives. Creme brulee, vanilla ice cream, they put them in cookies, all kinds of cooking uses vanilla. So these were kind of interesting. So if you're getting ready to garden, you might want to consider one of these as a way to add fresh spices and herbs. I've heard a lot that if you use fresh, it gives you a better flavor. So I'll just run down the names of these top 20. Coriander, mustard, fennel, garlic, paprika, saffron, caraway, cumin, lavender, bay leaf, ginger, dill, fenugreek, Fenugreek, cayenne, juniper berry, sesame, star anise, that's a little bit tough to grow, turmeric, vanilla, and sumac. So if you're thinking about getting your garden started and you want to have some fresh herbs and spices, then maybe you want to give some of those a try. I myself am going to give a few a try and see if it up-levels my cooking, and then I'll share with you guys as the season goes along, because this past weekend I started putting the garden in. So I hope you have a beautiful day, and thanks for listening. Have a great day, Joan. Bye-bye.